you. Well, I am thrilled and very, very grateful to be here with you this morning because women coming together and look at you is such a powerful thing. And I love the theme of this conference, be fearlessly resilient. You heard these women talk about it, and doesn't that just sound good to you? Isn't that something you want to be? You know, for me as an entrepreneur, that's been one of the key guiding principles in my life. So why are you here? Did you get a free ticket from your employer? Or maybe you're on the hunt in the career fair. Maybe you're in between passions and you're looking to be inspired. Well, whatever brought you here, I hope that you do find inspiration here today because there are moments that take us by surprise and shape us in life. To start a company, I needed more than any other one thing, resilience. When I started the company and I co-founded the company that would become WeddingChannel.com, I was 24 years old. I was clueless. I certainly haven't been successful because I had all the answers. I figured everything out from go, or I wasn't afraid. In fact, I attribute a lot of my success to being naive and clueless. I still remember in the early days of co-founding Wedding Channel, I was in business school, and my business partner and I were deciding, should we drop out early and start this company? There was a window of opportunity. It was back when the internet was going crazy and everyone was starting to do this. So we reached out to a mentor, someone, which is a great thing to do when you're starting a business, talking to as many people as you can and getting advice. So we reached out to the old boss of my business partner. He had been a CEO and he had run a company. So we thought, you know, he would know a thing or two. And he came and he met us in the school cafeteria to give us some advice before this big venture capital presentation. And we sat him down, and with great zeal and conviction and confidence, we walked him through our business plan and explained to him exactly why our company was destined for greatness. And he heard us out, and he looked at us, and he just said, I envy you because you are so naive. And that was definitely one of those moments where you're thinking to yourself, is that a compliment? Because somehow thank you is not rolling off the lips right now. You know, but then he went on to say, you know, I have been down this path before, and here you are going down it for the first time. So for you, you just see what's ahead of you. You don't see around the corner. And what you see is, okay, there's this one wall, it's funding, and you think, I can do that. I can climb over this wall. I've got energy for that. He's like, but I've been down that path. So I know that right after that one wall is another one, and then another, and another, and another. And I'm too tired thinking about it to even try. And I digested that for a second, and then with great sincerity, I could say to him, thank you. Because at that instant in my life, I made a pact with myself to never let life or experience take away my optimism, to always keep that little bit of crazy, that overconfidence that drives tenacity. And without tenacity, we have no innovation. I know that he was right. You know, and when doing that company, you better believe there were problems. I always joke that if I were to write a book on entrepreneurship, I would do it in the Dr. Seuss style. And it would be problems here, problems there, problems everywhere. You know, there were lots of walls, but we had passion and we had persistence, and we simply outlasted our problems. Then, 7 years later, or 7 years ago, I went to start the company that would become Stella & Dot. I was slightly less clueless, but only slightly. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had another full-time job. I started out of my living room. I really became obsessed and passionate with the idea of building a better home-based business platform for women. So even though I had a million reasons why I shouldn't be doing this, I couldn't let it go. So I went to learn everything I could, and I went to the Industry Association conference to talk to lots of people. I was all by myself, but I thought I should get out there and learn what I could. I remember being miserable. I was pregnant, and I had the morning sickness, the kind that lasted all day, and I was supposed to be networking, and really all I wanted to be doing was napping and eating a lot of falafels. It was a pregnancy craving that, you know, my daughter's 7, and I still have that craving. But, you know, I was out there, and I just made myself do it, and I learned more. And eventually, I just kept trying and kept doing, And I got up every morning and tried harder until it existed, because I was passionate about our mission. What I have chosen to learn from life is that I would rather be a naive optimist than a realist that's too tired to try. And what I've now come to believe is that if you believe enough and you work as hard as you believe, that impossible, indeed completely unrealistic things can truly happen. Today, this year, Stella and Dot, and then just this year alone, will pay over $50 million out in commissions to our small but growing tribe of phenomenal entrepreneurs that run their part-time, flexible Stella and Dot business from home. That's a real dream come true, because it's so gratifying for us to know that in these precarious times, these women who have made the choice to take control of their life, we've been able to be the platform for that. And that incremental money of these women that had been sidelined or underemployed or just simply underhappy found a place to thrive and come to life with Stella and Dot. So I'll tell you a little bit more about Stella and Dot. As the introduction said, we were named after our grandmothers. Because think about that generation of women. Okay, they sailed across oceans, got the boat, went to work when their country went to war, put coupons, raised families. They were resilient. And we inherited that from that generation. In fact, I want to tell you a little bit of the story of one of my grandmothers, Angelina DeLullo. Can you tell she was Italian? She was about this big, right out of central casting. She wore a house coat and a dress every single day. She arrived, she grew up here, had to go back to Italy at 4, where after her mother died, tragically right after her sibling and her grandmother died. She was educated to the 4th grade, ultimately got to come back to America, arrived in the midst of the Great Depression. 16% unemployment, banking crisis. Sound familiar? She couldn't speak English, so she worked in a factory. 8 years to pay back her passage. She got married, had 2 sons. Her husband died, leaving her with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. She was afraid they'd be taken away from her. So she moved her family into one room of the house, took in boarders. She had a job sewing and mending by day. She stuffed jelly into donuts at a bakery at night. She thought about what she could do and what she did have. She thought about being grateful for having her sons with her. She never used her lack of education or her circumstances as an excuse. She was resilient. Every day I'm inspired by so many women just like you that I meet, that choose to live a more bold and joyful life. They choose to do less fretting and more doing, less wanting and more having. They get up every morning and choose to pursue a passion, ignore the naysayers, to be daring and to be different, to be happy, because that is a choice, and it's one that you can make every single day. I am grateful for that inheritance. And you know what's amazing? You have that in common, because you're a woman. And as women, we are resilient. That is just how we are made. So I encourage you to think about how your life is going. Is it exactly what you want? And if it isn't, don't whine, don't complain, don't think about the reason why things are hard. That doesn't matter. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. It's just that it would be worth it if you kept trying and you tried hard enough until it existed. You are in charge of your own life, and there are no circumstances that are stronger than you. So with that, be fearlessly resilient. Thank you.